Dr. Philip C. Dolce, professor of history and chair of the Suburban Studies Group at Bergen Community College, is a longtime resident of Ridgewood. Professor Dolce recently shared some insights into how Ridgewood reflects the new paradigm of suburbia today.
The interesting thing is I was an urban historian. Before I moved here, I taught at St. John's University, and then I came out here. And what converted me was living here. When I moved into my house, I was totally bewildered by what I was supposed to do. I saw everybody outside doing things. Was I supposed to cut my lawn? Was I supposed to pave my driveway? Was I supposed to paint something? Should I fix something? I had no idea what I was supposed to do. Suburban life bewildered me. I had a super at home. I mean, I lived in an apartment. I used to get up and just leave. I never thought about what had to be done. And then I looked around, and suburban life was very different in some ways. And in order for me to understand what my life was about, I began to study suburbia. And I've been doing it for over 30 years. What we're finding now is most senior citizens prefer to stay in their homes if they can afford it. So you're going to see a growing, aging population in the village, which in turn is going to be reflected in voting on school budgets, etc. That's going to be one of the major changes that you're going to see here. I think you're going to see more single-parent families living here because of the divorce rate. So things have changed significantly. I think you're going to see, you talk about class mothers in schools. Well, it's going to be hard to find class mothers because so many mothers are working that they won't be able to be in school at 10 o'clock in the morning the way once it was. If you look at the schools in Ridgewood, there is no lunchroom in any of the elementary schools and no lunchroom in the middle schools. Why? Because when these schools were built, the thought was these children would go home for lunch. Well, guess what? They're not going home for lunch, and now you have this makeshift arrangement of having the kids eat in the gym, etc. Why aren't they going home for lunch? Because both parents are working. In order to make ends meet today, both parents have to work. I moved to Ridgewood because it had a couple of things I really liked. Number one, it had a downtown. There are different kinds of suburbs. There are railroad suburbs, there are automobile suburbs, and there are manufacturing suburbs, etc. If you live in an automobile suburb, there is no center. Ridgewood has a railroad stop, and if you have a railroad station, you have a downtown, and we have a beautiful downtown here. So there is a focal point to the town. When I moved here over 30 years ago, a number of the stores were unique boutiques. Today, mostly they're branch stores of national chains. Don't forget the competition from malls makes it harder to do business here. Yet, you have a lot of foot traffic in Ridgewood. Look where we're sitting now, in the Daily Treat. I mean, people gather here. You know who the waitresses are. You certainly know the owners. You know people who are sitting around you. There's a spirit of friendliness about this that you never get in a diner on the highway. So while it's changed, it stayed the same. There's still a very cozy feeling about Ridgewood that you would never get on the highway or in a mall, and yet many of the stores really resemble what you would find in a mall. Ridgewood started on the other side of Route 17. Before, obviously, there was a Route 17. The village actually started on the opposite end of town. When the railroad came, the center of the town moved. I mean, today we think it was always this way. It was never always this way. The history of these railroad suburbs are, first of all, the railroad came. The second thing is every one of these railroad suburbs had a hotel because traveling salesmen would come through. Ridgewood had a hotel, for instance. But what makes it walkable is having a central district. Where in the world would you walk in an automobile suburb? I mean, you can walk around the block, but here you walk Ridgewood, there are interesting things to see. There's the park, there's all these stores, there's restaurants. At night, what I love about Ridgewood is with all these restaurants, and perhaps there are too many, but there's enough restaurants that people are eating outside, they're talking, you feel comfortable because you see so many people. And that makes Ridgewood a vibrant town. It really does. And a town I'm very proud of.
For Ridgewood Patch, this has been Marshall's Minute.